So how should one read into this week's sudden decline and volatility? Is it a good time to put money to work, or as of now it is time to exercise caution? Is it time to buy into fear, or there is still some hope trade which is driving Indian markets? Let's discuss that with an expert, Sanjay Sinha, founder with Citrus Advisors. Sanjay, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Sanjay, honestly, it's been disturbing to see the way how Indian markets have moved in last 2 or 3 weeks. It's a bloodbath out there. Everyone is running for cover, and guess what? There is no space to hide.
Yeah, actually, I think the bearish phase in the market had started sometime in January, but because the Sensex had, the movement of the Sensex was camouflaged to a large extent because of the strident stock price rallies of the IT sector, people were probably not able to realize that the bearishness in the market had already started seeping in. Because, if you look at performance of the market in the first 2.5 months or so, the mid-cap index is down close to about 14–15%. The small-cap index is down about 20%. We have, out of the BSE 200, we have 33 stocks hitting their 52-week low in this month alone. So overall, I think, a combination of these three factors, which is liquidity, valuations and events, have now brought us to a situation where the stark reality that while a lot of promises were made in September 2012, and we were expecting that the government would get on the front foot on the execution, 6 months down the line we feel that maybe the words had come ahead of action, and the market is probably reflecting the broader state of the economy that we have. And I think this bearish phase also has got a little accentuated because of what's happening to the global arena. And till the time that we have clarity on that,
Right, more and more people that we speak to on the channel, they seem to suggest that the bear hug is here to stay. What's your own assessment? How long before we get out of the grips of the bears?
I think, given the severity of the damage, it would take a couple of months for the market to come back roaring, subject to the global factors clearing off quickly. If the uncertainty that has now enveloped Europe, and we now see that the global markets also have lost some steam, if that situation persists for too long, then I think the bearish phase could last a little longer. But I think surely for the next couple of months the market is not going anywhere up.
In general, do you still think that there is a lot of positive chatter which is dictating and dominating Indian markets, because just about every brokerage is convinced that Indian economy will recover? If I look at anecdotal evidence, which is cement sales, car sales, retail sales, things are looking rather gloomy. I'm sorry, I'm sounding rather bearish, but unfortunately that's the sad truth.
See, to some extent, it would be true to say that we are probably at the bottom as far as the state of the economy is concerned. We also are aware of the fact that there were certain positive moves which are made by the government, particularly the diesel price hike that was announced last year and it was held. The FDI in retail was passed through the parliament. But I guess, many of these things probably happened under the compulsion that if we had not acted, then we had a serious risk of being downgraded by the global rating agencies. Those compulsions are still before us. And then we have a domestic issue on the government's front, where one of the significant allies has now walked out. I guess I will take it that, the allies' differences with the government is on issues political and not issues economic, and therefore, whatever positive effects have, or the steps have been taken on the economic front, those will not be reversed. And if that actually happens, then I would expect the economy to slowly start improving. And that is something that would take some time to get reflected in numbers, and therefore the market's movement up would probably be happening after a couple of months.
Right, Sanjay, so then what do you think? How low will we go? And, depending on that, my follow-up question would be then, do you think it's a good time for investors to enter equities now, or perhaps hang in there for a couple of months, as you just seem to suggest?
See, as in terms of as to how much further low we can go, it would be largely a function of how do the events and liquidity play up. You know, against the headline FII net inflow of about 52,000 plus crores plus that we see. If you actually dissect that number, you will find that you have got close to about 33,000 crores of redemptions from the domestic institutional investors. Then you had about close to about 12,000 crores of the government's paper being issued in the last couple of months. And then you had offer for sale. So I guess, you know, very little of the FII money that has come in the last 2.5 months has actually come to the secondary market. We all know that the domestic retail sentiments are quite negative. So therefore, where is the liquidity which is coming into the secondary market? So as long as that doesn't happen, I think on the liquidity front, we don't have a positive cue. As far as events are concerned, you know, there is fair amount of uncertainty both on the global as well as the local front. If both these factors play out together, you know, I think there is a serious risk of the market slipping to as low as probably, you know, 16,500, 16,000 levels. But one thing is for sure, I think, you know, this is probably the darkest hour before the dawn. And I'm quite confident that, you know, accumulating equity at the current levels, maybe not in the full gusto, but surely in a staggered manner, there could not be a more opportune time.
Sanjay, you're calling this as the darkest hour before the dawn, but the bears are of the view that this is the beginning of the night.
Well, you know, if we don't have a difference of opinion in the market, we'll have no buyers and sellers.
Sanjay, really on the lighter side, I noticed that you're graying. Is that age, wisdom, stress?
No, I think it is wisdom.